Looking at the electoral map decided this week, it is an overwhelming victory for the 45th president, and Donald Trump is now set to be the 47th president as well. Trump swept the battleground states that were talked about so much. Clean sweep for Trump, and also a big performance in the popular vote. Donald Trump, the latest numbers we had, leading Kamala Harris 72 million to 68 million. An overwhelming victory for the Republicans, not only in the presidential race, but also in the Senate, and things, as we're recording this right now, looking good in the House of Representatives as well for the Republicans. And here with his insight into this election, Impact Group President Howie Morgan. Thanks for joining us this morning, Howie.
Glad to be here.
Now, you watch polls all across the country, you work on campaigns throughout the country, and what happened on Tuesday night? How did it come together? The polls looked so tight. We talked about that it was going to be ongoing. We wouldn't know who was going to be the winner for several days. That just wasn't the case.
If you and I talk today, right now, about where we want to go for lunch, I bet I could convince you to not want to go to TGI Fridays instead of us agreeing where we do want to go. And for the last 3 elections in a row, people are deciding what they don't like. In 2016, they didn't like Hillary Clinton. They didn't want her. They wanted the alternative, and they voted for Donald Trump. In 2020, they said, we had enough of this Donald Trump guy. We want somebody else. There's a sane Democrat who's going to be a moderate, he says. We'll go with that guy. He wasn't moderate. Then Kamala comes in there for 2024, and people decide, you know what? The Democrats are too far left, and therefore we're going to give this other guy a chance. Polling overwhelmingly shows in all 3 elections that they didn't like the person in the House, or the incumbent, more or less, and they want to have a challenger in there. And that's what they chose.
Voting against someone, even though Harris ran as if she was the candidate of change and Trump was the incumbent. She tried to flip the script, it didn't work.
She tried, but listen, you were the vice president. A lot of those things you did when you ran, she ran in 2020, and we got to see all those videos. I mean, that great commercial the Trump PAC did, where it talked about her giving an interview to a transgender organization.
We saw the ad a lot.
Saw the ad. If you actually saw the entire interview, you would see her adamant left-wing liberalism on display. And when people felt that she couldn't make the sale, that she was somehow going to be a moderate like Joe Biden. She wasn't in California. She wasn't when she ran for 2020. And trying to sell herself in 100 days was never going to work.
And so it's easy to probably look at the mistakes the Democrats made right now. Joe Biden, we can say he's just stayed in the race too long.
He should have never decided to run. I still don't understand. Listen, you can make it a crime for him to wait the last minute to ever decide to run for office. But the real crime happened when he got in office and he decided that he won the race, and therefore he's going to be a liberal and he's going to make all these changes in government, which is what voters did not want. They just wanted some normality, some stability. He did not provide that. And with the inflation hitting, and then Kamala Harris, I mean, then he was revealed to be, quite frankly, incompetent.
Right, yeah.
It was
the last debate performance was poor. Now,
poor,
the Democrats,
it was horrendous.
I felt like that the top issue that Democrats made was abortion. In the Democratic convention, I heard reproductive rights over and over and over. Was that a mistake?
Yes and no. If you see across the country, those actual bills, that referendums across the country, they won that battle. But they were able to also still vote on a different issue. Do you want to put the Democrats back in charge overall? And they said no. They put Republicans back in Congress, they put Republicans back in the Senate and the White House, and then they also voted to keep abortion rights enshrined in many of these actual Republican states. So yes and no.
Fine line there. Yeah. Okay, so we talked about the mistakes of Democrats. What did Republicans do right? Well, they talked a lot about immigration. They talked a lot about inflation and the price of things. It worked out.
Absolutely, it did. But did they really stay on message? They still have a horrible candidate who cannot stay on message. Almost 30% of people who voted for Donald Trump wish they had another choice. They just looked at the Democrats and says, we don't want that. So we're going to give this guy one more shot. Hopefully he'll be a better person than he was the first time around.
Yeah, we'll see. And we know that Donald Trump brings a certain level of chaos with him. Can the Republicans, even with all this power, even with the mandate, can they govern effectively? What do you think?
Well, they're going to have a pretty close majority in the Senate. The House, maybe also a small one as well. There's going to be a lot of chaos, but I don't know if the Republicans will have enough votes to really overcome a lot of the, say, a mandate to do a lot of things. This is still a pretty divided nation. They haven't decided what to do, like the Democrats haven't decided who they want to be yet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of soul searching and inward looking, I think, over the next 4 years to see which each party wants to do, because there really is no path. Trump can't be reelected again, and the Democrats need to figure out what their coalition is going to be. So
yeah, we're going to be starting from scratch, it looks like, either way. So let the campaign begin already. Yeah.
Hey, we already have campaigns in South Mississippi for mayor and it's councilmen all across the Gulf Coast, and they start those elections in February.
Yeah, that is coming up soon, the municipal elections that we'll be watching, and I know you'll be involved with some of those as well. Howie Morgan, thanks for joining us for your election insight this morning.